was it become increasingly frustrating every time a guy would go down? Because the goal was to develop players, but also develop chemistry, identity. But when guys are in and out, veteran guys, it's kind of tough to do any of that.
Yeah, I probably was a little crazy about it because I felt like I could develop this year and compete, with I thought Joe in the front office, I thought we did a great job in what we was able to bring back for Dame, So I really thought that I would be able to, develop some of our young guys, but also really compete, to try to be in, to play in and, be competing for a real serious situation. And maybe I was a little unrealistic with myself. Maybe I wasn't, maybe it was me, But I really thought because we got some really good pieces on this team, we brought back some real winning type of pieces. So I thought I would be able to do both, And then when we could just never get any continuity, with bodies out there, it became very apparent that I probably wasn't going to be able to do both. And it was frustrating, because all I care about is winning, man. That's all I really care about is competing to try to win. So it was tough. That's what made this year so tough for me personally, But with that being said, I do feel like there were so many things gained this year for us in terms of development, Where Scoot ended the year, I thought it was on a really, really high note, Where DA started the year and where he ended the year was on a really high note. Jabari, Tumani, Chris Murray, we did a great job of developing these dudes and building the type of culture that I believe in. We had a handful of games that really got away from us this year where it was some tough losses, but in terms of us being, severely shorthanded most of the year, like teams had to earn their wins against us, and that's what I'm proud of, and that's what I believe in, and that's who I am. So there was a lot gained and a lot that was good about this year, even though we lost a lot of games.
What kind of conversations have you and Joe and the rest of the front office had about kind of what your goals are going to be next year going forward?
Yeah, Joe and I have always been, as y'all all notice, on the same page, and Joe does a really good job of letting me focus in on coaching during the season, and not talking too much about the future while the season is going on, because there is a lot for me to, it's a lot for me to go over and be present for during the season. But after the season, immediately after, we turn the page, and start talking about what's next. And obviously those are going to be some really important conversations for us. So that's going to be here going forward. But we haven't done too much of it before this presser, obviously.
In terms of your self-evaluation, now that you've completed another season, where do you think you've made your biggest strides as an NBA head coach, and what are some things you want to continue to improve on yourself as you move forward?
Yeah, I think, I do this all the time, but because I always think, looking in the mirror is the biggest thing that you always have to do, as a player, as a coach, as a person, period, whatever you're trying to accomplish. And I just feel like I've gotten better every single year. My patience has been tested, obviously, more and more. But just schematically, and me just kind of seeing the game, seeing things that need to change quicker in games, whether we can execute those adjustments or not has been, sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But I think the fact I take a lot of pride in having been able to compete with these teams with far less talent because of some of the game plans and some of the adjustments that we make during games. It's allowed us to actually compete in some of these games that we probably shouldn't be competing in. So to me, that's growth. You know, that's growth for me. So I'm light years ahead of where I was, but I also have a lot still to work on, you know, as a coach. And I said this before, but I think like being so young, it's made me really dig deep and try to teach, you know, 'cause that's what a coach is. He's a teacher. And you have to find different ways all the time, you know, to try to get through or to try to teach, you know, and sometimes you fail at it, you know, and I've done that a ton. So one big, I guess, challenge, if you will, is that we haven't won yet here since I've been here. And I don't want, you know, the guys that are here to think that that's just what it is, you know, which is why I'm so proud that they fight like hell every night. And I try to make them believe every night that we have a chance to beat this team. And they believe it, you know. And so to me, that's an improvement. You know, that's tough. It's tough to come in to our locker room day after day after day after day. We losing these games, and still make our guys believe in what I believe in and what we're trying to do. That's tough to do, you know, and our spirit is of a team that is probably won 50 games. Another thing that's tough to do when you got 21 wins. So I just feel like I've grown in a million places and a million spaces as a coach since I've been here, but also I got so much to learn still, you know, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity, you know. I just want that chance to continue to keep getting better and keep competing and be in this conversation. Like when the season ends last night or yesterday afternoon, like I want to be preparing for some big games, you know. So that's definitely what I'm hoping that where we go.
Are you comfortable with this, like, because you do have such a young core and an opportunity to add more this summer in the draft? I mean, if this is still a development situation next year, can you do both things again, where you're trying to compete and develop, or how comfortable are you with this remaining development situation as these guys get up to speed?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, for me personally, I just hope that we can like be more gearing towards winning. You know, trying to win first, and then develop along the way, which is what I thought I would be able to do this year, but I wasn't. Obviously, we got a lot of picks in the draft this year. We got a lot of guys on our team this year that are young guys that are developing, doing well. And those are decisions and conversations that obviously, like I said, after the season, which is now, we'll start having. You know, Joe and I will start having. But I really hope that we could start trying to really win, man, you know. And I just know that, like, we all need to be better. Like, I need to be so much better when it comes to that. My staff has to be better and get better. Joe and his staff, they got to get better. Our H&P department, like, we got to get guys on. We just all, as an organization, I just think we all got to be committed to getting better. And, like, now, you know, that's what's going to make me confident and make me happy about where we're going, if that makes sense. But I've had those conversations with Joe, you know, about just us just demanding to be better, you know, being better. So I'm confident in that. Joe and I, we on the same page with that for sure. But obviously, yeah, we got a lot of important conversations to have.
Coming into this season, you guys made it clear that it was development first, winning second. You obviously were going to try and win, but development was the priority. And I asked you specifically about Scoop versus Brogdon, that there was no competition, that Brogdon was way better, but you were going to start Scoop and maybe finish games with Brogdon. So, but it sounds like now you want to go into next season where winning's first, development second, and that you don't really want to go through another 50-loss season.
I would love that. I would love that for sure.
Require roster moves, not necessarily just bringing back the entire crew, right?
Well, first and foremost, it will require us just being healthy, you know. I think we got some good players, man. Like, I really believe if we was healthy this year, we wouldn't feel this. I wouldn't feel like this, you know. We went 21 games this year, and literally I don't even know if we had our roster for more than 5 or 6 games, you know. I don't know what that would have been if we had a full roster. Do we win 35? Do we win, you know, I don't know. But even with the depleted rosters and lineups that we play, we won 21 and we probably gave away probably 6 or 7 or 8. We up 26, 20-something, this, that, you know. I don't know what would have happened, you know, but I just know that, like, we already have good players on our roster. But there's a lot of things, like you say, like we should be looking at everything, you know, to try to get better. But you also can't speed up the development without actually experience, you know, which our guys, they got that experience this year. But yeah, I mean, that's 3 years in a row for me of losing 50, all these games, you know, and I think we all know this, like that wasn't my plan when I came here, you know. We had like a veteran-laden team, you know, at the time, and we was hopefully trying to take a step up. But things change, you know. Things change, and I've been fine with that, you know. But we also got to be honest, like we could have been healthy all year, and the Western Conference is crazy. You know, the Lakers, who I think got a really good roster, they've been healthy all year. They in the play-in. I think New Orleans got a hell of a roster. They in the play-in. I mean, the West is crazy, you know. So, but I hope that we're in a position, you know, where we can compete with some of these teams.
Chauncey, how do you said those conversations you and Joe are going to have, how do you guys have those conversations and come to conclusions after Shea misses so much time, after Ant misses so much time, after Scoop misses so much time? How do you, like you said, the West is crazy, but the NBA doesn't stop just so you guys can collect more data to make those decisions. So how do you make those decisions without having the necessary data or enough or whatever it is you need to make those decisions going forward?
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously it sucked with Shaden being out this year. For more than anything, it sucked for him, you know, to not be able to get the experience of playing through the year and competing and showing, you know, who he could be. But me personally, I don't have no questions about Shea. I think Shea's got a chance to be a star in this league. I think we've seen it. We've seen a small sample size of it this year with him. I'm very confident, you know, in what I think about Scoot, you know, Ant. Like I seen enough to know what's possible. So I think we do have some data to make some of these type of decisions, to be honest with you. And then some of these decisions you get right. Sometimes you don't. But I think we do have enough data. We've studied our guys enough. Nobody studies more than Joe and that front office. They looking at it every single day. We look at it from 2 different lenses, but come together, you know. So I'm confident in that part of it, that we've seen what we need to see, you know, to try to make proper decisions, you know. But that's why he's a big dog, man. That's why he's a big dog. That's what he do.
I mean, two of the guys that were the healthiest probably were Tumani and Jabari. I mean, what did you like from their seasons, and do you think they kind of proved that they could be, you know, a long-term solution in the 3 or 4 spot?
I was very happy with both guys. you know, I'll start with Jabari. Like a year ago, right now, I sat in that office in an exit meeting with Jabari and told him some of the things that he needed to do to prove to me that he is a real NBA player and can be a rotation player. And he attacked all of them. He attacked all of them. You know, he got his body right. You know, his understanding of what we wanted to do in his game and him guarding people, and he just attacked it all. And I'm so proud of him. You know, he proved, you know, to all of us that he's a player, man. You know, he's a player. He's competitive. Obviously, his rebounding was a big deal. Bless you. But yeah, like Barry did a great job, and then obviously Tumani, I think he proved too, you know, that both of them guys could potentially be starters on a real team, you know. But two came and did what he had to do. I thought his presence was felt every single night. As a team, we were much better defensively this year, and Tumani had a lot to do with that, you know, and so did Jabari when he played. So their presence was felt and missed when they didn't play, you know. So kudos to both of those guys, man. They came and they did their thing.
Chauncey, going into, you know, they're going into year 4 here in Portland. You're also going into year 4 of your contract. Do you feel like coming into the season you're going to have something to prove as far as your own, you know, job as a coach or any, you know, standing or anything?
I always feel that way. You know, I always feel that way in this business. You know, I always feel like, you know, you're trying to prove what you could do, you know, and how good of a coach you could be, you know. So I've always felt that way. I feel no differently about going into next year. I'm looking forward to having that opportunity, you know, to be able to prove how good I could be as a coach. So I don't feel any differently about it. You know, I think as a coach in this league and any league, and you in the professional ranks, you're always coaching for your job. You know, it's just kind of part of the business. But that don't scare me. I'm not worried about that. You know, I'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you hope that there's a show of confidence in you and continuing to develop these young players by, you know, picking up your options sooner rather than later, or maybe an extension or something, so they don't feel like you're developing players for someone else?
Yeah, that's a part of it, and you know that's a decision that, you know, that I don't make. You know, I just try to do the best job that I can, and if they see that there's the value there to do it, then that's on them. But I'm committed to doing the best job, man. You know, and trying to develop and trying to win and trying to teach, trying to compete, trying to mentor. I'm just committed to all of those things, you know. And along the way, those are decisions that they have to make, you know. So I'm not expecting nothing, but that's just how I move, period, in my life. I don't expect that. I just expect me to do the best that I can. So that's a question not for me, you know.
Thank you all.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate y'all, man.